One of the biggest objections that I hear from amazing female professionals who really want to build something on the side, but feel like they can't, is that they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time outside of what they are already doing, outside of all of the personal commitments that they have to dedicate to building something. And if that is you, I want you to lean into today's episode because I'm going to be sharing the exact method that I use to build my coaching and consulting business alongside my work as a lawyer and raising two little people and being wife to an amazing husband. It is totally possible for you to prioritize your goals, your wants, and your desires while still maintaining and delivering on your responsibilities. And it's not about you squeezing more into your day or extending your day. It's about protecting what actually matters and being very intentional about the time that you do have. Welcome to the Career Changemaker podcast. Do you want clear direction about your next chapter, but find yourself overthinking every move and worrying about getting it wrong? If so, you're in the right place. Hey, I'm Janine Esbrand, corporate lawyer turned career coach, keynote speaker, and mother of two. And I've discovered how to gain real career clarity and build an impactful career on my terms without sacrificing security or burning out. If you're ready for aligned career options, confident decisions, and work that protects your peace, close that comparison tab on LinkedIn, grab your notebook, and let's dive in. Before we get into it today, if you are someone who is navigating a transition in your career and you're ready to build on your own terms, I want you to come and join us inside of our email community. You're going to receive this kind of practical, real world strategy direct to your mailbox on a weekly basis. And it's the place that I go deep and I share stories about what's going on with me and my clients. I share tools, I share strategies, I share frameworks, all for the purpose of supporting you and helping you to move forward quicker. So if that sounds I started building my coaching and consulting business back in 2016 when I was on maternity leave. My son was 6 months old, and I was in a space where I wanted to pour my attention into something other than the day-to-day routine that I had established while I was on maternity leave. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed building, I enjoyed learning about business, I enjoyed doing the initial things that are required to get my business set up. And then I went back to work. I went back working as an in-house lawyer. So in order for me to continue building, I needed to figure out how I was going to manage building out this coaching and consulting business with international clients and look after my children and serve my clients inside of my role and be the wife to my husband. There were lots of demands on my time, and I realized that it wasn't going to be possible for me to just coast through and be reactive to whatever came my way. If I wanted to be able to feel like I wasn't dropping balls, if I wanted to be able to really grow this business, then I needed to have a plan and I needed to have a strategy, right? In today's episode, I really want to break down the key things that I have done and what I now teach clients to do when it comes to managing your calendar and making sure that you have time set aside for you. What needs to happen in order for you to advance growing the additional income streams that you want to build. I'm going to break down the time blocking method that has been super helpful for me, that's allowed me to juggle all of these balls over the years and has been really transformative for clients that I work with as well. The first thing that's important for you to do is start with an audit so you understand where your time is currently being spent. So often we feel like we don't have enough time, but there are pockets of time that are being wasted. There are leaks happening here, there, and everywhere throughout your day. So if you are somebody who typically checks your phone a lot, if you're someone who find yourself scrolling when you have time in a line, when you have time in a car, when you're waiting, if you're scrolling on social media without a clear intention, you are wasting time that could be redirected to what you're building on the side, to your side hustle, to your business, to that additional income stream. The time that you are spending consuming content that other people have created is time that you could be spending creating for your future. And I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but if you do an audit and you start to pay attention to how you're spending your time, you will notice that there are definitely places where you can redeem some of it. So I recommend that you think about a time period, so whether that's a week or whether that's 2 weeks, and you really note down what are you spending your time doing throughout the day, and notice where you might be able to use chunks of time or collectively put chunks of time together that you can be directing in other areas. Okay, so auditing your time, how are you spending it right now? And then you want to be thinking about what are all of the things that are required in order for you to move forward and what is going to move the needle. So when we are getting started with building something, it can feel like there's so much to do, and there can be. But we want to prioritize the things that are going to move the needle. So if you are getting started with building an additional income stream and you're trying to monetize your corporate expertise, then you want to be prioritizing revenue generating activities. So the things that are going to help you to bring in opportunities, that's what you want to be prioritizing. And once you start getting some opportunities in the door, you want to be prioritizing that delivery piece. So actually doing the work that you have promised that you're going to do, right? Everything else Everything else that feels urgent, everything else that feels like it would be a good thing to do, and I'm talking building a website, I'm talking thinking about branding, I'm talking researching 25 different pieces of software that can help you to manage things. Those things need not be a priority. And when I say that from a place of experience. I say that as somebody who spent weeks building out my own website, not knowing what I was doing, only to realize that it wasn't properly optimized in the way that it should have been because I had no idea what I was doing. And I just wasted a lot of time. That time could have been spent on acquiring new clients, but instead it was spent on me just enjoying the learning process of building out a WordPress website. So thinking about what actually needs to get done, right? Listing out what needs to be done, and it should fall in the category of either marketing your services, making sales for your service, or delivering your service. And then once you have your list of things, activities that you're going to do that are needle moving, then we want to take it to the calendar. We want to go to the calendar and we want to block out the time that you are going to be dedicated to those things. And the tool that I have used that has been so helpful with this time blocking approach is my Google Calendar. And the reason the Google Calendar has been so powerful is that you can set up multiple calendars and you can color code them. And so if you are somebody who has multiple things happening, multiple streams that you are juggling, you can have a different calendar for those different streams. And at any one time, you can toggle on and off the calendar that you want to view, the calendar that you don't want to view, and it allows you to be able to overlay everything in one place. So if I wanted to see my speaking calendar, my coaching calendar, my consulting calendar, my kids activity calendar, my personal calendar, I could overlay and see all of those things at once, so I could really see what is going on with my week and where I'm going to be. But equally, if I just wanted to focus in and look at, okay, how much activity is there on the speaking side of the business, then I could just look at that. What is going to be really, really helpful as you are getting started is for you to decide when your working hours are for your side project, for your side business, for your side hustle. Okay, what ends up happening if you don't assign time for working on what it is that you're building is that you're always going to feel like you should be doing it. So you're going to have like a open tab in the back of your mind, and anytime you get some free time, you're going to feel pulled into working on something so that you can feel like you're progressing in some way. But that is a surefire way to sap your energy. It's almost like when you have your computer and you have so many tabs open. I'm totally guilty of this. I'm that person who has way too many tabs on it. When my husband or my son looks at my computer, they get stressed because they're like, "Why have you got so much open?" But that's just me. I like jumping between things. But the reality is when I have too many tabs open for too long, my computer slows down. my computer slows down and it isn't as efficient because there's too much running in the background. And this is what happens to our brains when we are dealing with the load that we already deal with. And then we're trying to add on this ongoing commitment to grow something on the side, right? We're going to have this open tab where we feel like we should be doing things all the time, and it saps the energy that we have to get all the tasks done that we have on our plate. So instead of doing that, what you're going to do is you're going to decide on when you are working on your business. And so, or when you are going to be working on this side project. That could look like you say, right, there's a certain number of evenings a week, or there is a block on the weekend that I can commit to where I can dedicate to what it is that I'm building. And then in that block, whatever you decide that is, you block it off the calendar, you put it on as a recurring meeting appointment with yourself that you don't move or you don't cancel. And then those items that you have identified and that you have listed as important needle moving items, you will then assign those to that block of time. And when you do that, you're going to realize whether your list is too long for the time that you have or whether you can fit more in. It's going to help you to really get a good perspective on what is realistic. If you are a list person that's used to writing a list of ongoing tasks that is as long as your arm, then this approach is going to seem difficult for you because it's going to be like, oh, I've only got two or three things for my time block. But the reality is, it's better to put those two or three things that you can realistically get done than to just have this ongoing perpetual list of items that you actually will never get to and will constantly feel bad about not reaching the bottom of the list, right? So instead, let's be realistic. And sometimes it's going to take a minute for you to really understand how long things actually take, because we can often underestimate how long things take when it comes to tasks and time. So as you are doing things, pay attention. And the same way that we did an audit before of how are you spending your time at the moment, you can do an audit afterwards once you've started to apply this method to say, oh, okay, I thought it was going to take me this long, but it actually took me this long, right? I thought it was going to be a half an hour task. It's a 45-minute task. So then going forward, when you allocate time for that task, you know that that's more of a 45-minute task versus a 30-minute task. So it will take a while for you to get that level of accuracy around how long things take, but it's going to be so helpful for you to know that essentially your opening hours for this business, this side hustle, this project that you are building on the side of your 9 to 5 is whatever you choose it to be, right? Whether it's a 7 till 9 thing, whether it's a 10 till 4 thing on the weekends, whatever that is. So the same way that you show up for work and you do so diligently, you're going to start showing up for what you're building and you're going to do so diligently. And that is the method that has really helped me to be able to make progress even when life has been really busy. It's the method that has allowed me to release over 320 podcast episodes and be consistent with showing up and getting this out each and every week. It's the method that's allowed me to attract clients from all over the world. It's the method that's allowed me to build multiple income streams that have supported me and my family in different ways over the years. Having the time set out that I am actually going to work. And for me, I am actually a night owl. So I enjoy working at night. It is the time that my brain clicks on and I am the most creative. And so I have factored that in and given myself permission to have certain time blocks where I do work in the evening, but balancing that out with times where I might start work a little bit later, or I might prioritize doing my housework and things that some would do in the evening, I might do them first thing in the morning. So instead of cooking dinner in the evening, I cook dinner in the morning so that dinner's ready when the kids come back from school. So just figuring out what has worked for me to juggle all the different pieces has required a level of intentionality, a level of awareness, and also being able to decide what is actually important. For a very long time, I didn't really watch TV. People would ask me, have you seen this program? Have you seen this program? And my answer is no. Why? Because I don't have time. I don't have time to watch TV because I want to be creating. Instead of me consuming what someone else has created, I want to create something for myself that I'm able to contribute to what I'm going to be building. And so the reason why it's important to really do the time audit and see where you are spending time is that you can be claiming back time that you're spending in ways that are not actually that important to you so that you can build what it is that you want to build. So that is what I have for you today. I really hope it's helpful for you um to see. And if you come over to the email community, I'll be sending an email out to show you the behind the scenes of the Google Calendar and give you some screenshots as to how it works so that you can see how to set it up yourself. So head over to the show notes, come and join us over in the email community, and I will shoot that email over to you. I'm excited for you to start thinking about managing your time differently and using this calendar approach to make sure that you are dedicating time to the things that are important to you and are building in a way that is going to benefit you in the long term, that your future self is going to thank you for. All right, that's all from me right now. I will speak to you in the next episode. Until then, keep moving towards your career goals. Bye. Hey, ambitious woman, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to follow the show and share it with someone who may be quietly rethinking their next chapter? Also, please leave a review. It really helps this message reach more ambitious women ready for career clarity. And it lights me up to know that this podcast is helpful to you. Until next time, go and take one strategic step forward, and I'll meet you back here in a few days for another episode. Let's keep building.